What's up, my radiated redactyls? How you doing today? It's Chris here. Now, that was actually really freaking hard to say. Radiated redactyl. Now, it could be that I'm just sort of tired, but I feel like if I ended up trying to say that 3 times in a row, it would be really freaking difficult. Should we try it? Alright, let's do it. We gotta say it fast, though, guys. Radiated redactyl, radiated redactyl, radiated redactyl. Oh, that's gonna be tough. I think 5 times in a row is where it's gonna start to be really freaking difficult. Hey, you guys should try it right now. Do it, man. Do it right now. It's going to be really fun. Also, my recording volume is kind of messed up. Let's change it back to where it should be. Bam! There it is. Alright, that's where it should be. You guys are probably like, oh man, you just quieted right on down, right? Well, it's going to keep myself from peeking though, so that's good. But anyways, this is, or was, the hardest map in the game for an extremely long time. Now, they did end up adding tar pits into the game, which it seems like, to me, almost like a recent update, but it really is not recent at all. I think that's several years old at the very least. So, no longer can Bloontonium Lab be considered the hardest map in the game. And they also added some other weird ones too, like the web, and there's even some co-op maps and stuff like that are actually really difficult. And I feel like I should actually go back and just play those just for fun, see if I can actually take them down, see if I can actually beat them. But for now, I'm still going to call this one of the hardest maps in the freaking game. So, not only are we beating the hardest map in the game, one of the hardest maps in the game, we're also doing it extremely quickly. Alright? I remember back in the day trying to beat this thing on hard, just hard, when Impoppable didn't exist yet. Just trying to beat this thing on hard was an absolute pain in the neck. It was nearly impossible back in the day. I don't think I've ever actually done it's completely naps with no tokens or anything like that. I think if I did end up doing a token run-through without specialty buildings, I could probably pretty easily do it on hard, but I don't know if I could do it on Impoppable. So, it's a hard map, guys. It is absolutely a hard map. Obviously, everything gets a little bit easier when you use tokens, when you use specialty buildings, when you get all these upgrades. Like, yeah, it gets easier over time, but... And I feel sort of bad, because I'm like, back in the day, it would take me maybe 20 run-throughs, 30 run-throughs, trying to get the exact right strategy, use the exact right targeting, get the exact right amount of banana farms that I need. And on this, it really doesn't work that way anymore. I only played this thing 5 times, and I ended up trying quite a few different strategies up in here. Of course, I did an engineer start for every single one, but I was trying out some snipers, I was trying out some dart monkeys in combination over here, I tried just a second engineer, and nothing was working very well at all. The only thing that ended up working out well for me was the ninja strategy into eventually a sniper, and the sniper actually worked out really, really well. I was kind of excited about him. Just one single 1-0 sniper, and what he was doing was he was popping a lot of these stronger balloons, you know, the random lead balloons, the random zebra balloons, the regen zebras and everything. He was popping all those guys. So, another thing that I tried, though, was I tried doing a strategy where I was popping all the balloons literally as soon as they came out. So I popped down a couple engineers on the 3 entry locations of the balloons. It ended up not working out well at all. I was spending all my monies on engineers, and they couldn't even pop the balloons, and I couldn't build banana farms. It was an absolute crap fest. I don't know what I was doing, but it was just absolutely horrible. So I changed up my strategy a little bit. I put him in a way more efficient spot, but less good for speed. And what I'm hoping, though, is that just because I have enough money for really good towers in the mid to late game, that's going to end up outweighing the fact that I can't pop the balloons in the early rounds any faster. And again, I'm not positive that this is the best way to do it, but this was my best attempt at the speedrun. Again, I played it probably like 3 or 4 times through. I played it about 5 or 6 times through, and I actually died on like 3 of those attempts. So I played all the way to around 85 on, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 tries over here. I don't remember exactly, because it was over the course of about a week or so. And this is my best attempt. I actually beat my worst time by about 2 minutes, so that was actually a pretty big bonus right there. I was actually kind of excited about that. I'm like, dude, I beat it by another minute. And I'm like, oh my god, I beat it by another minute. It was just kind of exciting. If I keep on playing this thing, I think I could probably cut down another maybe 15 seconds or so if I get exactly right with my next round starting thing. But I'm just not sure if that's going to happen. So anyways, I've actually got to talk to you guys a little bit about my really, really sad moment in my life right now. It's not as sad as some people might think. I think a lot of other people probably have much more sad things going on in their lives, and I feel even worse for you guys. But I have to talk to you guys about how upset I am about this. So I've had a fish tank since I've been, man, oh man, I think it was 5th grade. My friend Pat got me a guppy. All right, so he got me this little baby guppy. All right, and I shouldn't call it a little baby guppy. Let's call it a big fat mama guppy, because that's what it was. It was a pregnant guppy. So I had my little baby tank. It was not big at all, I swear to you guys. And this guppy had babies. All right, so I had a pregnant guppy. Bam, it had babies. I thought that was really, really cool. I'm like, oh, look at these baby guppies. This is awesome. So anyways, I actually upgraded my tank. I went from this little baby tank to I ended up getting a 10-gallon tank. I put my filter on there and everything. And of course, I'm pretty young at this point. I don't really understand what I'm doing. I put fish in a tank. Things happen. And I feed them every day. That was my thing. I feed them every day. So what ended up happening, though, is that the guppies, they really liked their tank for a while. And the baby guppies had baby guppies with each other. And I ended up having a lot of baby guppies, guys. I ended up with, I had so many guppies that I couldn't count the guppies anymore. And they were all in this 10-gallon tank. They just kept having babies, and kept having babies, and kept having babies. And I was like, I don't know what to do, man. I've got so many guppies. I was like, should I sell them? Should I give them away? What should I do? I had no freaking idea. So, again, so this is what's been itching on my arm. I got tape on my arm right now. It's gonna come into the story, guys. So, eventually, my guppies ended up, I thought they were getting really sick. I didn't know what was happening. I thought there was a disease going through the tank or something like that. I'm like, I have a bunch of inbred guppies. Of course they're going to die from a disease or something. But again, I didn't know any better. I was sort of a young kid. I didn't have the internet at my disposal. I asked my dad what to do, and he's just like, I'll do whatever you want, man. So later in life, I realized that what I was supposed to do was do water changes. I should have taken water out of my tank and put new water in the tank. And I didn't know that. I was just like, I put water in there, like, every time I just fill it back up. And it's to basically get rid of the excess nitrogen that's in the tank. So I wasn't doing that, and a lot of my guppies died. Actually, all of the guppies died, if I'm not mistaken. I just didn't know why, I didn't understand, and bam. But I had them for a good solid, 2 or 3 years before they ended up actually having, all these problems. So I must have been doing something right. I must have done some water changes or done something like that. I've cleaned their tank sometimes, but I just didn't understand what was going through and killing these things. I could have just had way too many guppies. That's irrelevant, though. All I want to say is that since then, I've learned a lot. I've had a bunch of tanks, a bunch of aquariums. Obviously, I love my animals. I love my pets and everything. And I do my absolute best to try and make them absolutely happy. So I had this aquarium with Amanda. We had a betta fish, a plecostomus, and an African dwarf frog, and a couple other fish that we kind of added in there as well, throughout the time that we had him. And of course, the betta fish started off as a male betta fish. He lived for about 3 years, and eventually I was like, you know what, let's get a female betta fish so I can mix in some more colorful and cool fish in there. So I had a 20-gallon tank with all these really cool fish in there. I had a female betta. I had we still had the plecostomus, the frog, I don't know if it was an African dwarf frog. It's a candy frog, I think. Got that wrong. It's a candy frog, if I remember correctly. At least that's what they're called at the pet store. And then I popped some zebrafish in there. Zebrafish are usually really, really hardy. And that's what I had for a long time. I loved zebrafish, by the way. Or zebra danios, whatever you want to call them. But I just call them zebrafish. I loved them. I love them because they swim around really, really fast all the time. I think that's really cool, that they're just always swimming and chasing each other. They're really fun to watch. But, and zebrafish, again, they're really hardy, okay? But, sadly, I had a bunch of problems happen all at once. I moved to this house, and my betta fish got ick, and so I got this stuff that's supposed to get rid of ick, and it dyes everything blue, and so all of my aquarium stuff ended up getting dyed really, really blue, which wasn't that bad. I'm like, to save my fish, of course I'm going to do that, but she ended up dying anyways. I think the ick was too bad or something like that. I don't know what happened, but she ended up dying. And then all my zebrafish started dying, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, why are all my fish dying? I'm a fairly skilled fish keeper over here. Well, today, I finally found out what the heck the problem was. At least I think so. I had a ridiculous, gigantor glob of black mold in the hood of my aquarium. I have the air pump just below the area where all this mold was growing. And when I say like gigantic clump of mold, I mean it was like probably 5 inches wide and like almost half an inch thick or so of all this black mold. And don't get me wrong, I clean my tank quite often. I just don't clean the hood. I clean the gravel out. I do the water changes. I do all this fun stuff. I make sure all my fish are happy and healthy. And I just couldn't figure out how the heck or why the heck all my fish were dying. And I think that's the only solution that I could come up with. It was that black mold somehow was killing all my fish. But I never found anything online about the black mold usually killing the fish. They said it kills their plants, or just kind of gets really nasty and gross, kind of all of the aquarium, but it doesn't kill the fish. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know if that actually was what caused it, or if like some other chain reaction was going on, or what the heck was going on. But I had a huge problem with black mold. It grew that big in the 5 months that I've lived here. It also makes me wonder if there's like black mold in the house that I don't know about. There's a bunch of black mold spores, because I've never had this happen to me before. A bunch of black mold spores in my house maybe, and they just kind of transferred to the aquarium, and then the aquarium just grew the crap out of them. I'm not sure. I digress. But anyways, we got 11:16, which is even better time than Main Street. Absolutely ridiculous. But I cleaned out my tank today. I did it in its entirety. I bleached literally everything. I'm hoping that I can get my tank back in order so I can end up getting some more fish and make them happy, because I like having a fish tank. It makes me happy. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure you press that like button for me, of course. Subscribe if you haven't, and have a super duper delicious day.